Let's talk about some of the problems with college football 27. Now, for me, there are three major issues that I have found with college football 27 with the game modes that I have played. I've played mostly Dynasty mode. I don't play Road to Glory. It's just not something that makes me happy. I don't have any joy from playing that particular mode. My favorite mode is and will always be Dynasty mode. That is my favorite mode, and these are some of the problems that I've seen within that mode, no matter what team I have tried to beat. I've been Oklahoma, I've been Ohio State, I've been small teams like my created Stephen F. Austin State University Lumberjacks, and these problems persist throughout the entirety of the game, no matter what team I have, and no matter who's controlling the players or anything like that, for the most part. Now, my top three problems, and we'll talk about a few others, are the constant drops from wide receivers, broken blocking, and broken CPU recruiting. And these all happen frequently while I'm playing Dynasty mode games. But for starters, let's give a little background on me. I've been playing college football video games for the majority of my life. I've been playing ever since EA Sports college football was known as Bill Walsh college football. That's how old I am. That's how far back I go in playing college football games. And as much as I've loved the return of college football 2020, for 25, 26, and now 27, I still believe the best college football game ever made was NCAA 14. To me, that is the best game that EA ever produced. I don't care if what sports franchise you're talking about. To me, that is the best sports game EA has ever created, and that is a hill I am willing to die on. Because to me, when it came for the bang for your buck, as well as the fact that it wasn't sent out half baked like most games are today, it was one of the best games I have ever played. So that said, let's talk about some of these problems that we've been seeing in EA Sports. First off, the constant drops from wide receivers. Now, some people have told me in comment sections that I've in forums I've been in that it's just a skill problem, but it's not. It doesn't matter the skill at all, because I've seen people talk about this that are actually good at the game. See, I play at varsity, maybe All American if I get spicy. Because I don't play college football to pull my hair out. I don't play college football to stress out over wins and losses, right? I don't want to sit there and get my rear end just run over every single game I play. So I play on the lower settings, varsity, maybe All American if I'm feeling, the urge. But it's not a skill issue at all. There's a fact that the game has a problem. And I can tell you this because it's just wide receivers. It doesn't matter. I've been Oklahoma, I've been Ohio State, I've been several other schools in the top tier and the lower tiers. Just on different runs that I have tried to, go through and see how things work, right? And drops are consistent no matter what team I am. Now, as it is right now, I do not have time catching on. Maybe that would help me, but I don't have that turned on at the moment. And I haven't had it turned on. But the one thing that has been on has been AI wide receiver catching attempts. And with that on, the receivers are supposed to make an attempt decide if they're going to make an attempt for the ball if you, the user, do not provide input. The problem is when it is on, they don't even attempt to catch the ball. They don't make any kind of attempt at all to catch the ball. I have seen the ball be thrown to wide receivers that were wide open, and they just don't even attempt to catch it. It literally hits them dead in the chest, even if you don't throw a bullet. And it just bounces off, hits the ground, incomplete, or an interception. Happens every single time, just about. I've had at least 10 games where wide receivers caught 0 passes. And why do I focus on the receivers? Because they're the only ones dropping passes. In those 10 games, I still got passing yards because my tight ends and my running backs and my fullbacks caught the ball fine. It's just wide receivers. And And a lot of that from what I've seen from other users, a lot of it does stem from the AI wide receiver option, right? Or catching option. Now this should affect your tight ends and your fullbacks, but for some reason, whenever my receivers drop every single pass, my tight ends, my fullbacks, and my running backs catch everything, within reason. So this is one of the major issues that I'm having with the game. No matter what setting you're on, and maybe some of them can be rectified by me turning on the, timed catching options or whatnot, but I haven't tried that yet because that's something very new for me that hasn't been a thing in the years that I've played this game. So maybe that could rectify it. But what I have seen from other users is that turning off the AI catching actually leads to receivers catching more passes. And they listen solely to whatever input you give them. The AI doesn't take over at any point or anything like that when the AI is turned off. The problem is the toggle is broken. The toggle for this particular thing is broken. So you go into settings, you set it, and guess what? You think it's over. You think you're done. But no, it's broken. The whole toggle is broken because you do it in settings. When you go into the game, when you actually go in to play a game, if you go to settings and look again, it's automatically turned back on. And your receivers are automatically going to drop the passes. And this is just seems to be a thing that EA needs to look at, EA needs to fix, and I hope more people start complaining about it and more people start, getting it out there that this is a problem. Instead of just always telling people it's just a skill problem, maybe it's not a skill problem. Maybe, just maybe, it's a problem with the game. Because when so many people are talking about it, obviously it's a problem. Now, the next one, broken blocking. Now, ever since July 2nd, when that game launched for me, I've had problems with blocking. Blocking has been absolutely just abysmal. No matter what team I've been. Like I said, Ohio State, Oklahoma, other top tier schools and very low tier schools like Stephen F. Austin State University, a team that I made with Team Builder. It's the same blocking no matter what I do. I have moments where offensive tackles totally ignore the defensive end and are literally blocking air. I've had other moments showing you how broken this is where the blocking, I have seen offensive guards and I've seen offensive tackles running backwards on the snap, trying to block with their asses and not blocking properly. I've literally seen offensive linemen run backwards to block on the snap. It is absolutely the craziest thing. If I ever see it, start seeing it again, I will try to find a way to get a video of it so I can post it here. But it's one of those things that, I'm not very tech savvy. So I am having a heck of a time trying to figure out how to record anything on my Xbox that I can find a way to put online. But that said, I have seen this happen at least 5 or 6 different times, no matter what teams I have been. Right? In almost every save that I have run, this has been a problem. Okay, where the offensive linemen run backwards. That's crazy. That shouldn't happen. EA needs to fix that. I have also seen a number of situations where you're running the football and you'll see an offensive lineman, like your guard, pulling to block somebody, and at the very last second, they will turn around and run backwards. They'll be just like inches away from laying down that devastating impact block that would free your running back up around the end for a touchdown, only to see them stop and run backwards away, like they're scared of the cornerback that they're about to level. And I see that happen a lot, especially when I run the buck sweep. It's one of my favorite outside plays to run, and almost every time I run it, even with a macro set for a hard slide to the right or hard slide to the left, it doesn't matter, right? They run all the way over there, they get right next to the defender, and then they run away like they're scared of them. Like they got some kind of virus or something. It's almost like, everybody running from the Honda ship passengers. It's absolutely weird, the things that I've seen with blocking. And I don't understand it. I truly, for the life of me, could not tell you why this is happening. I don't get it. Maybe somebody out there can leave it in the comments and let me know why your blockers just run away from defenders. And the other one I have seen is just simply, like I said, just simply bad blocking. Offensive linemen simply ignoring the defender in front of them and just blocking air, especially on the pass. When you drop back to pass, it's very likely that that right tackle is not going to block. That right tackle, every single time that I drop back, if I don't do some kind of modification, like a half slide left or half slide right, I'm screwed. And I understand that you need to make those adjustments sometimes, but when they're lined up straight on, it should be very obvious that the offensive tackle should block the defensive end. Right? That's obvious. So there's some issues there that I think need to be fixed with EA, and I think it'd be really helpful if EA went ahead and started working on things like that. Because I am sure other people have seen some of these blocking issues, and I would love to see some of those rectified, even though um, I have seen some adjustments that I've made in my sliders have helped. My right tackle doesn't block air as often when the defensive tackle or defensive end lines up right on top of him, but it still happens, right? I don't mind getting sacked when I make a misread or I don't read that a blitz is coming. I don't mind that. I get that, okay? Because I suck. At the end of the day, I am not good at video games. I may love to play them, and I've maybe been playing this game for over 20 years, but I'm not great. I just never have been. There are a lot of reasons for that. We won't get into that in this video. But, you know, those are some things that could be very helpful. And the last thing that I've noticed, one of the last big things I noticed in Dynasty Mode, because there hasn't really been that many problems that I've seen with the game within Dynasty Mode, but it appears that the CPU has a bit of a broken recruiting issue going on. Because you play a few years in, 3, 4 years in, and all of a sudden, teams that should be doing great, like Ohio State or Alabama or, top tier teams like Clemson, are playing with like 3-star quarterbacks and 2-star running backs. And that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I should not, in year 3, be able to just run roughshod all over Clemson with Stephen F. Austin State University, a team whose ratings are in the 50s, right? That just shouldn't be an option. I shouldn't even be able to sniff a win against Clemson with that team. But by year 3, I'm able to hold my own with them and even get wins against Clemson. Right? That's crazy. That shouldn't happen. Obviously, these teams have problems. Right? And when you see the quarterbacks, you go back and look and you see quarterbacks for top tier teams listed in the 60s or low 70s. Obviously, there's a problem that EA needs to look into fixing. And I hope they'll do that at some point. Now, there's some other issues too, but those are the big 3 that I've had with the game. Right? Those are some things I think EA could look at now that we're done with the microtransaction mess. And I hope that these problems will be rectified. Now, for me, there are some other nitpicky issues that I've been having. And most of it has to do with recruiting. Like, it doesn't make sense to me that you can just throw a bunch of NIL at somebody and they'll just sign with you. That doesn't make sense to me. I was just able to land a 5-star defensive tackle just by throwing some NIL at him and offering scholarship. And that's it. And in the offseason recruiting, in the portal time. Right? That doesn't make sense to me. I was able to sign somebody, a 5-star rated player, a defensive end, or defensive tackle one, I can't remember exactly which one of the two. And all I did was throw a lot of NIL at him. I didn't offer him many points. I offered him like 10 points during off-season recruiting, and boom, he signs with him. That doesn't make a lot of sense. especially from a 1.5 star program. So there's another one of those nitpicky things that we could deal with that we could see some, some fixing in. Um, but all in all, I think this is a really good game, and I've had a lot of fun playing it, and I'll be playing it a lot in the coming future. Hopefully, I can start getting some streams done and post them here on the channel and everything like that. Now, I don't have access to any ability to like talk when I'm making my video game, streams because I do not have um, that ability. I don't have a headset or anything like that that would allow me to do that at the current moment. But hopefully, I can get some content made in the near future, and maybe um, I can post it here uh, as well. Also, check me out in other spots, the Alien Ant, here on YouTube as well as on Twitch. I'm the Alien Ant. I play all sorts of different games. College football is just my favorite one I play. I also make content. I also try and start making content more with my golf game, as well as the Sims, which was my initial plan for this channel was to do more Sims content, and I haven't done that as of yet. But anyhow, thanks for watching. Hope to see you in the next video.